I'm Ken. This is segment 2, setting up machines in your Prime controller. If you haven't done the general settings yet, I suggest you watch that video first, because you need to have your general settings completed and set up before you move on to the next step of setting up your machines. So let's get started. Starting from the home screen or main screen, you want to select machines. And this lists all the machines you have, and to navigate through the machines, you just use the next arrow and it'll take you through the machines. Then we can go back and back to the beginning. So I want to select the air dryer for this example. So we'll go next and we'll select blower 1. And first thing I want to show you is how to change the name of the machine. So if I just click on the name up here, it says blower 1. I'm going to keep it as blower 1, but here's where you can basically erase it, change it, name it whatever you like. So let's go back. And so the first setting for this machine is going to be the position. So this piece of equipment is set at 80 pulses to turn on. If I want to, I can say change it to 70 pulses, and now that blower motor is going to turn on at 70 pulses. Then I need to decide, is this machine I'm working on, which is this one's a blower, is it a default machine? Does it turn on with every single wash package? And for the instance here, it's a blower motor. It's set at 1. Now if I change it to 0, then it's no longer a default machine, and in order to have that turn on, I'd have to select it in my wash package. But it is an air dryer. I'm going to put it back to 1, and so now that will turn on with every single wash package. Then I want to know, or the machine wants to know, do you want this to turn on for all of the car, half the car, or the back half of the car? And it's simple numbering here. So 0 means that it will be all of the car. 1 would be the front of the car, or half. And 3, if I were to make that a 3, then it would only turn on for the back half of the vehicle. But it is an air dryer. We want it to turn on for the whole vehicle. So we'll put that at 0. And extended pulses. So with an extended pulse, that means how long do you want that piece of equipment, or in this case a blower, to turn on, or stay on after the car has passed by. This one is set for 3. We can kick it back to 2, and so the air dryer, the blower motor, will shut down 2 pulses after the car has passed. Then you have look-ahead pulses. This is set for 10. I'm going to keep that at 10. And what that does is looks ahead to see 10 pulses into the tunnel to see if another car is coming. If another car is within 10 pulses of that blower motor, the blower will stay on. It makes it more energy efficient to stay on versus shutting off and then ramping back up. And that's your look-ahead pulses. And then you have what we call the soft top. That is an option. It's a button on the terminal that you can add to a wash package. What that would do is basically shut down the blower motor or the machine, whichever you're connecting it to or whatever's wired to it, if that button is selected. So if I make this a 1, now if I select soft top along with the wash package, when the car gets to that blower motor will shut off. The reason why you might want to use that feature is, if somebody has a convertible and is concerned about the air dryer blowing too hard on the top, excuse me, you can use the soft top feature to shut it off. Or if you don't want to have the blower motor running blowing air into the beds of pickup trucks so that you don't get debris all over the exit end. But I'm going to put that back to 0. And The next function or thing it is asking is this part of the wet down? I had explained that in the general settings what a wet down is, and I guess I'll explain it again. So if your car wash has been shut down for a while and the cloth is dried out and you want to run a wet down, this is basically asking, do you want this to turn on when wet down is selected? It's a blower, so no, we're going to leave that at 0 so it does not turn on. But if we wanted it to turn on, simply just make it a 1, and that will turn on when the wet down is selected. So we're going to go back to 0 because don't need to run a blower motor during a wet down. And panic. That basically is a panic stop, emergency stop, whatever you like to call it. Each piece of equipment or each machine setup, you can tell it what state you want it to be in if emergency stop is pushed. This is set to 0, so if emergency stop is pushed, the blower motor is going to stay on. But if you want that to shut off with an E-stop, just change that to a 1, and that will now shut down when an E-stop is selected. Anti-collision. Anti-collision is similar to an E-stop. Do you want the blower motor to shut off if anti-collision is turned on? If a car doesn't exit fast enough and another one's coming up on it. This is set to 0, so this will stay on in a anti-collision situation. So now here is the normal delay. So if you want this to turn on, because it's a blower motor, you do want this a delayed start, and for programming all your blower motors, you definitely want to stagger your starts. You don't want all your blower motors starting at the same time. That's too much of a draw and could damage equipment. So this one is set to 2, but since it's blower 1, we don't need a delay on that. So we'll put that to 0. Now, when you go to program your next blower motor, you definitely want to have a delay by 2 pulses, or you can, depending on the distance between the blower motors, you can go with 1 just to stagger the draw. So that is your normal delay start. And this last one is a panic delay. So when somebody hits start after the E-stop has been pushed, you don't want your blower motors all to turn back on immediately when you come out of an emergency stop. So here, this has a 2-second delay. I'm sorry, 2-pulse delay, not second. Now this one we can put to 0 because it's the first one. And when you go to do your second blower, you definitely need to stagger that. So like I said in the previous example, you want to at least have that at a 2-pulse start. And that is how you set up your equipment. And then when you're done, you can go back to machine menu and just select a different machine, and you can select basically the same features and how you want that machine to function. So we'll go back to start, and that is setting up your machines.